Most of mankind lives cut off from our Creator and blind, bald, and naked before His face. You have no shame of your nakedness before Him because you have no fear of not being found in His favor. On the top of this list of rebellious mankind is the scattered nations of Israel, who are primarily gathered into Christianity today. You defecate on His Son's blood with no shame for doing so whatsoever. And now in just 5 days after today, you will receive a double portion of His indignation for your abominations. Yahweh told Israel that if they departed from His Torah, that they would be cut off from being His people. One of the places where He said this is found in Isaiah chapter 5. In verse 24, He said, "Therefore as the fire devours the stubble and the flame of the mouth consumes the chaff, so will your root be rotten and your blossom will go up as dust, because you have loathed Yahweh of hosts' Torah, and you have despised the word of the Holy One of Israel." In the scriptures, He says over and over again why He is sending His wrath upon Israel at the time of the end. He tells us one of the reasons why He cut off Israel and scattered them in Exodus 31. He says, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Verily you shall keep my Sabbath, because it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, so that you will know that I am Yahweh that purifies you," or that sanctifies you. Verse 14, He says, "Therefore you shall keep the Sabbath, because it is to be holy, or to be set apart to you. Everyone that defiles it or profanes it, dying they will die. Inasmuch whosoever does any work therein, that soul will be cut off from being my people," He says. Cut off is cut off. Obviously, Christianity claims that He lied in verses like this. Your make-believe G guy is a liar. And I stand on the true Creator's authority claiming that you're the liar. The true Creator changes not. Your make-believe Messiah is a liar as well, because the true Son of the Most High said that He did not come to get rid of any of His Father's Torah until heaven and earth pass away. Looks like heaven and earth are still here. He said the only way into His Father's kingdom is to follow Him, and He was His Father's word. Following Him is walking on the same path that He walked on, which is His Father's Torah, and it includes His Sabbaths. He went on to say, Moses went on to say, we record Yahweh to say in verse 16, "Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout your generations for a perpetual covenant." It didn't go away. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. Because in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day He rested and was refreshed. His Sabbaths are not on a day of the week of the calendar that Satan set up for his children to use. Our Creator has a calendar that His Word testifies to, and His Sabbaths are not on days like Saturday and Sunday on Satan's calendar, but most of you could care less. You even care less the pagan origins of these saints and such. You have no fear of opposing our Elohim, because you are lifted up in pride and arrogance before His face, and you want to tell Him how it is and how and when you will come before Him and such. Your hypocrisy to say that you love Him when you will not even obey Him is incredible. And now dying you will die unless you repent. A 7-day continual rotating Sabbath on Satan's calendar does not fit into the rotation on Yahweh Elohim's luminaries. His word says that He put His luminaries here for us to use to determine when His Sabbaths and the rest of His appointed times are. Nor does the continual 7-day rotation fit into the rest of His word with things like observing His commanded new moon celebrations and such. I want to share an interesting discovery that was sent to me this morning. I will share this discovery with the small flock who is hearkening to what is being restored, and to those few of you who are sitting on the fence to hopefully help bring you off the fence. The rest of you will scoff at this like you scoff at everything else in His Word that His Word testifies to. Therefore, you will be of the 96.667% who will soon be purged out. I'm looking forward to this day. If you have been listening to these videos, you know that yesterday, the 21st day of the 4th month, when I scattered the last third of my hair and began a 90-day countdown to the last day of the Feast of Temporary Dwellings. This last day is the 21st day of the 7th month. Could not be a coincidence, especially since this day that I scattered the hair was also exactly 90 days or 3 months from the day that the arch door closed. Excuse me, the day that the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The prophet Haggai recorded in Haggai chapter 2, in the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, the word of Yahweh came by the prophet Haggai, saying, "Speak now to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedek, And the high priest said to the remainder of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house in her glory? And how do you see it now? Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing? Yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, saith Yahweh, and be strong, O Joshua, son of Josedech, the high priest, and be strong, all of you of the land, saith Yahweh, and work, because I am with you, says Yahweh of hosts. He was prophesying that work will resume after the Feast of Temporary Dwellings on the 21st day of the seventh month. It will not be like the work that you have now, because man's abominations will be cleaned up, and people will serve one another out of love for one another. July 19th will begin a period of calamity that will equate to an 84-day period that is called one day because of the luminaries being held back. The book of Psalms, when we're told in it that those without Yahweh's mark of their foreheads will think this day seems like 1,000 years to them. Here it is why he says the time of the affliction is coming. Hosea prophesied, and this is just one of many places that says why it's coming. That people will be destroyed because of a lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I will also reject you, and you will be no priest to me, seeing that you have forgotten the Torah of Elohim. How clear can it be? I will also forget the children. It says very clearly that one would be sent even to tell you to return to the Torah with the statutes and judgments. So I don't know how all of you are rejecting this, but sadly you are, and 96.6667% going to reject it altogether to the very end until there are no more. For those of you who are too stiff-necked to receive the knowledge of the true image of our Creator's righteousness, and you want to continue in your rebellion to His Torah, you are not going to like this period of time. Thus saith Yahweh Elohim.